Thank you for attending the Harrington Group International conversation about PPAP Simplified with Foundation Product Process Family Strategy for when you're authoring the process flows, the PFMEAs, and control plans. We have great attendance today from a mix of industries and departments, of course, quality engineering, some manufacturing engineering, and quite a few auditors. I was at lunch at an event a couple weeks ago, and I was at a table of auditors. And they said their favorite place to find problems is in control plans that aren't linked and connected. So hopefully we can work through that somehow. A standard webinar protocol, the phones are muted. Please use the question box to put in your questions. We'll have copies of those at the end. There are a couple presentations you can download during the event, a copy of this slide deck and some other information. And a certificate of participation will be provided. The Harrington Group is delivering an app to improve the PPAP process. And what we're going to discuss is how this is better than spreadsheets, but not too complicated. The planning strategy is trying to help organize how this work is done. Now, many organizations get frustrated by the labor-intensive administrative costs of creating a PPAP submission when they just open the spreadsheet file that they got from their customer or the industry associate and they start entering data. So what we're going to try to explain today is an approach that leverages reusable libraries that, although it takes some time to design and deploy, I found it extremely helpful in reducing the non-value added time from using these standalone spreadsheets for every PPAP submission. But maybe more importantly, create more readable documents for operators with consistent messaging, consistent terms, consistent context. So the recommended approach starts with defining foundation and process families. Again, this takes some time to organize, but it can save up to 80%, some cases more, of the non-value added labor. Harrington Group worked with a bulk material provider that was doing 1,800 unique PPAP submissions a year, down to just 2 common reusable libraries. And the submission time went from days to 30 minutes. So here's some examples. When we say foundation, we mean the common reusable information across all manufacturing, like receiving or shipping, perhaps storage. Product family is shared information across common parts, and process family is shared across all product families. Now, when we talk about unique parts, that's the detail at the part level, rev level, where you put in key characteristics, all the part-specific information. Now, this is where most people start the process in spreadsheets and cause an exorbitant amount of time just trying to save and reuse these spreadsheets with no ability to update or manage to share information. So start with process family. And one of the reasons I say that is our experience has shown that manufacturing people can very quickly describe the process from receiving to shipping. They can walk you through the plant. They'll tell you what the ops are. They can talk about how they control the ops. And it's a good way to get them started in a way they understand. I guess what I'm saying is don't force some quality form in that doesn't necessarily make sense. Now, I'm hoping with the companies registered that some of you are using composite manufacturing, because I'd like to use that as the example today. So if you look at composite manufacturing, there's open molding, closed molding, cast polymer molding. So for today's conversation, we're going to try to look at something that's common across, and composites used in automotive, aerospace, consumer products, energy, marine, military, and sports. So I hope this resonates. So let's just look at open molding. If you look at the process, the foundational processes are, again, for example, receiving, storage, and shipping. But for hand layout, you basically verify the mold, check the spray gun, spray the gel coat, apply the fiber reinforcements, apply the resin, remove trapped air, remove material, which is good. It's a good way to get started. But if you also do spray up, then it might be interesting to compare the two. And what you see again is there's overlap. Whether it's hand layup or spray layup, we verify the mold, we check the spray gun, we spray the gel coat. There's two operations that change a little bit, but the point I'm trying to make with this slide is, again, there's common reusable information even between a hand layup and a spray layup. So how can we leverage this? My suggestion is that we create a process family of reusable libraries. So the strategy is to pre-build reusable libraries before creating the detailed part-specific information. Again, this is where it takes a little thought, because there's a couple of different ways to do it. The objective is to do the approach that mirrors or is common with the people in your company. If we do that, when we're then building the actual forms for a PPAP submission or for the PFMEA or for the process flow, we now can go in and grab from this library and select it as needed. And there's similar logic for product families. You know, we make flat brackets, we mold brackets, we have different types of brackets. Again, the idea of having this reusable library. Now, how do you manage part-specific data? When a PPAP submission is required for a specific part number or revision level, the part-specific information is uploaded. All this material, when you see these up arrows on the screen, can be imported. So the detailed product characteristics, the detailed process characteristics, again, processes, temperature, flow, humidity, pressure type things, and then the operations. Now, one of the things that is also powerful, and you know, this library thing makes sense, but how do I even keep track of where the information in the example PFMEA is enclosed from? So there's icons in the system that will clearly tell you this is a foundational requirement, came from the foundation library, it's a process or product family, or it's part number specific. So there's an easy way when you start bringing this all together to know where it came from. Of course, the next question is, how do I synchronize all these libraries and the part specific data? The system, of course, comes up and tells you that, for example, in this one, we changed the check spray gun to check spray gun for nozzle and airline pressure. Now, humans decide if the updates are needed. It's not automatic, as the users that design the tool so that other apps that automatically update everything just messes everything up. Some we want to go up, some we don't want to go down, some are very specific. So a human is used to do that. One other thing from my experience in deploying these, I mentioned this briefly, was consider a simplified PFMEA form for internal development. Now, the software allows you to have multiple forms and templates. So originally intended to have, this is the one we use for internal training. Our customer wants to use this form. And a lot of times the customers are just changing column headers. But as we deployed this, what we found is just switching the vocabulary makes it easier for people. You know, instead of asking them what the potential failure mode is, you can just say, what could go wrong? You know, instead of using terms like, what's the potential effect of the failure? What would happen if it went bad, and how bad would it be? So again, in the software, you can put together what I call simplified forms that allow you to rapidly deploy with people that really don't necessarily know what an FMEA is or how to develop it. You know, one of the things that I've seen a lot of challenges with is something as simple as sample size and frequency. The columns get messed up, there are duplicates on either side, and really all we're trying to say is, how many do you want me to check and how often do you want me to check it? So how do I create a PPAP submission? Well, as you build the libraries, you input the part-specific information, you push the publish button on a project screen. It'll come up and ask you what content or attachments do you want to include in this set of documents. Now, what this is set up for is some customers want, or your plants, we want only full submissions, or some want partial submissions, or some want to resubmit. So you have the ability to go ahead and create the submission. If it's a resubmission and they only want to see the PFMEA, you can create that content as well. So what it does is it creates a published record, creates a zip file of the various documents that you asked to be included. And again, in here, people are uploading capability studies, plant layout diagrams, engineering drawings. It's whatever content you want to make it easier, and provided in PDF and spreadsheets, just whatever your company or your customer looks for. A little bit about the Harrington Group. We've been in business since '91 with 45,000 customers that have selected our software to work on this. The team is looking at cost-effective tools like this PPAP tool. In addition to the PPAP tool, we have an enterprise application and a supplier portal application that has significantly reduced clerical workload in other areas and improved the ability to learn more. With that, we'll check to see if there's any questions. Got a couple in here. One is, our company is just looking at PFMEA right now. They don't care about control plans or process flows. Can the software do that? And the answer is yes. The tool set was designed by people that have been using spreadsheets anywhere from 5 to 20 years to do this. And there's a lot of flexibility. I mean, they told us every time in the meeting, we love spreadsheets because we can do whatever you want, but we hate spreadsheets because they break and sorting and all those issues. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. But short answer to your question is, if you just want to focus on process FMEA, you can do that. And the more I think about it, it's probably a really good approach to build the process families. Another question, is the software available on premise? The answer is yes. You can use the cloud app, and of course, it's highly secured, cloud installation. But yes, it's available on premise. Can I import current spreadsheets I have? The answer is yes, but my experience has shown that you may not want to. A lot of the older files, again, were just created independent of anything else. So if you upload it, you may get some content in there that doesn't really meet the objectives. But short answer is yes, you can. I just don't necessarily recommend it. How long does it take to deploy the focus on process families first? That's a good question. I mean, it depends on the size of your company. It depends on how well you're involved in the current process. If there's training required to get people up and running, that takes a little more time. But if you say, here's what we got, here's how it's set up, it can be done in a couple of weeks. Again, it just depends on the company. And a follow-up question from on-premise, is there integration available? Yes, there is. There are a lot of areas where we want to connect with ERP that's, purchase orders drive the PPAP process, or with PLM that may be the master repository for your part number, rev level, product characteristics. So yes, integration is available as well. How closely does the software follow the AIG core tool software? You'll find them very similar. They are, I actually was the project manager for AIG that developed the tool. So I spent 3 years with the volunteers, and that's who actually designed and developed it. So it's very close. Okay, I think that's it. Well, thank you so much for attending. Appreciate it. If you'd like to get a detailed demo on how this might apply and support your current approach, we'd love to have a call with you. Reach out to us at sales@hgint.com. Thank you so much for your time.